Kirk, unfortunately, is another victim of white-on-white violence. But don't worry, he died doing what he loved, trying to start a race war and supporting a genocide.
Hamas uses the kids as human shields on top of their military bases. It's called Judea and Samaria. It's not called Palestine.
You don't believe that Palestine has the right to exist?
No, everyone has a right to exist. Show me where it is. It's a non-existent place. I don't think the place exists.
What?
Because it doesn't. It's called Judea and Samaria. It's not called Palestine. There is no starvation in Gaza.
The war started because 1,300 Jews were killed and 200 were taken hostage. And when you declare war on Israel, expect a firestorm in reaction. Hamas started the war. And I don't see people that were really upset about the 2 million Germans that were killed in World War II, civilians. A tragic truth of war is that civilians die. I don't like it, and you don't like it. And they brought it upon themselves.
And so civilians are going to die, and that is a tragedy. And Hamas brought this upon themselves.
What happened to Charlie Kirk is exactly what he supports Israel doing to Palestinians in Gaza, where they are murdering over 100 Palestinians per day. Violence has no place in America. Save that shit for the brown kids we kill overseas. Supporting a genocide is not a simple political disagreement. So I'm going to show Charlie Kirk the same respect and death that he showed George Floyd, who he wouldn't allow to rest in peace. The same right-wing scum who shared memes of George Floyd dying are now expecting us to show respect for their dead Nazis. These people are such shameless hypocrites, but Black Twitter is not letting them off the hook. Not only did Charlie Kirk monetize the death of George Floyd and called him a scumbag, he even attacked MLK. This man released an entire video series demonizing and attacking MLK. Meanwhile, we're supposed to show him grace? The grace that he never showed us?
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, you would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Now, we know you do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. This shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad. It was evil. But what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid. I mean, 4,000 Black men, women, and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation. But
racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is worse than it has been.
That affected
in the last 80 years.
The generational psyche of an entire group of people?
Oh, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that. We note in our piece that Kirk describes King as, quote, a bad guy. It's true. And Kirk's self-described very, very radical view that the country made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act. Also true. Why does Kirk believe passing the Civil Rights Act was a mistake? Now, again, apparently they don't listen to the show because we do that at least once a week, right? Once a week we talk about why the Civil Rights Act was a mistake.
This motherfucker spent the last few weeks of his life trying to start a race war between Black Americans and white Americans. Meanwhile, we are supposed to mourn this scumbag. Now white America is trying to rehabilitate the image of this racist scumbag and paint him as a hero. We absolutely cannot allow that to happen.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage.
What's poppin'? My friends, my family, welcome back. The streak continues. We have a banger show today, man. We have the chairman of the ACP Haz al Din, who will be joining us here very soon. This is the banger video I put out correcting the record about Charlie Kirk. And bro, this video is doing mad numbers across all social media. And because of this, and because of me showing people what Charlie Kirk said, there are a lot of Republicans, there are a lot of Charlie Kirk supporters that are giving me death threats. There are a lot of people who are wishing death on me. Don't worry, guys, I'm okay. I'm very confident in my ability to defend myself. I'm not afraid of death. I'm down to be a martyr for the movement. It is what it is. But isn't it interesting? I just find this interesting. There are people who are wishing death on me because I said something that they found offensive. Who does that remind you of? I said something, essentially just saying facts. Like in that hotspot video, I'm very fucking chill, I believe. I'm just showing you guys what this man has said. And now we got all these Charlie Kirk and dumb MAGA people. Like, damn, I hope you die, nigger. Nigger, you're going to get what coming to you, nigger. Bro, you guys should see my fucking notifications right now on X. It's a fucking Klan rally. Because I exposed Nick Fuentes today as well for being a tool of Palantir and big government censorship. And I am not going to, I'm just getting started. I am not going to allow them to rewrite the history of the genocidal psychopath. Because this is what they're posting. If you look at MSNBC, if you look at CNN, they're in real time rewriting who this man is. Are we going to allow that to happen? Are we going to allow someone who cheered on the murder of Palestinians, someone who cheered on Libya being destabilized, someone who supported every single United States war, every single genocide, the person who supports our expanding police state, the person who supports all the violence of our society, which led to his ass being clapped in the first place? Are we going to allow them to rewrite history like they rewrite history about all their psychopaths? If it was up to the entirety of the white left, the establishment bourgeoisie left, we would have statues of this motherfucker. People on the right are already trying to paint this guy as a civil rights hero. Bro, I told you guys that Zionists are trying to create a completely false reality that we're living in. And to me, it's crazy that people are allowing this to happen. The same with people going around with the anti-Semitism crisis. And now because this motherfucker got popped, living the consequences of his actions, of his own life, the chickens came home to roost because there are a lot of speculation that it possibly had to do with, that might be Israel and the Mossad that popped his ass. You know the same thing he advocated for Palestinian children across the seas? Just like Malcolm X says, chicken coming home to roost, and now they're freaking out about it. And if you don't go along with this narrative, everyone has this narrative. Oh, he's a great, kind Christian father, family man. He's a family man. As if the Palestinians are they're not family men as well. As if they don't have children as well. So as long as you guys keep posting this foolishness, as long as I see you guys trying to rewrite history about this scumbag who didn't respect the dead as well, why should I stop? A lot of people like, Nick, you should be a politician. You guys, I don't have the temperament for that. It's a lesson of humanity. That if you don't want people to trash you in death, you live a life of honor. Charlie Kirk not only lived a life of massive dishonor, he lived a life of evil. Americans complain about the evil politicians that we have in office. Who do you guys think is responsible for electing these people? Charlie Kirk, you already see the people biography. He got this Turning Point USA. He raised countless millions of dollars for genocidal politicians, and people are eulogizing him. People hate on their fellow working class, and I do talk a lot of shit too. For when people vote for someone who's evil, right? Like there are Republicans who will never forgive Democrats for voting for Hillary Clinton, or Hillary Clinton voters who will never forgive people for voting for Donald Trump. Charlie Kirk did way more than just vote for these people. He created a complex, a genocidal political complex where he would get the most crazy, insane, pro-war Zionist elected. He wasn't just some podcaster. He was a part of the genocidal machine, and he got popped by the genocidal machine that he created. So why, if you're on the left, why do you feel like you have to apologize what the hell is going on right now? I didn't shoot him. This wasn't us. This is another example of white-on-white violence. This is not a tactic that the left is engaging in. I believe in a robust list of strategies to use, but I think anyone with a brain, and I know the ACP agree as well, anyone with a fucking brain know it would be a horrible idea for any left movement to fucking kill a Charlie Kirk. I would be hanging on by a tree right now if I even had held a planning meeting about that. So if we did not do this, and we are not responsible for the shooting, why do every single people on the left feel like they got to hold their tongue about who this guy is? And we got to pause. I condemn the shooting. Why do you feel like you have to say that when we didn't do it? Or I think people said, in response to me, they was like, hey, Nick, what are you saying? 2 wrongs make a right when I was exposed to Charlie Kirk because he got popped? I'm like, Nick, I didn't shoot him. The fuck you talking about? I didn't fucking shoot him. And right now, I'll talk to Zoya. And Zoya, you already know. I was telling Zoya this the other day because there's a lot of heat. There are people being banned. I was like, man, I made my point. I made this video that went viral across multiple platforms. I had one of our biggest streams in recent times yesterday, completely destroying this motherfucker. So I was about to move on. I was about to let it go. Like, all right, this is just one of many topics that we cover here at RBN. Now we are seeing this trend here where the right wing being led by Nick Fuentes and the entirety of the capitalist class is waging war on the working class and doing everything they can to punish them for engaging in their own free speech. This is the same thing that these people have complained about that the left has done for years. You guys see how both sides are the exact same? The exact same. And I can show you guys countless tweets. I'm going to have my guest coming here soon. I contacted 234 employers as of now. And there's all these right-wingers bragging about all the teachers and ordinary working class people that they got fired because they're not properly mourning this guy they're trying to ordain as God. The capitalist class is retaliating against us for not properly mourning someone who they trying to ordain as a hero, as someone part of their accepted society. We don't have to accept their morals. He's a genocidal scumbag, and I was okay with losing people over this because I will never apologize whenever a dead Nazi dies. Because when I said Zionism equals Nazism, unlike many of the performative people in the pro-Palestinian movement, I actually believed that. And no one was mourning Nazis in the 1940s. I will never apologize for mourning someone who is doing propaganda for genocide. You lost me. You guys are out of your damn mind. If you think you guys, Nick, or from RBN, gonna mourn some motherfucker who said Palestine doesn't exist, what the fuck I look like? So I was about to let it go anyway. But despite this, I see this insane, coordinated attack by MAGA to censor people on this. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something that I uniquely have the ability to do, because the reason why a lot of these people are seething is because I don't have a manager for them to call. They are calling people managers, and since they're trying to create the society where he's a hero, and if you don't fall in line, they're going to financially ruin you. What does that remind you of? The same thing they did to college students protesting genocide. So I have these videos telling the truth about the reality of the situation. And as they are getting teachers fired, there are so many of these people that like, hey, live the TikTok. Why don't you expose Nick? Expose RBN. What's popping, Haz? I'll see you, brother. I'm going to bring you in here in a second. And I'm noticing, despite all my viral videos, I am not hiding my position on this, all these right-wing influencers that are attacking ordinary working class people, they have nothing to say to me. They don't want that phone. Listen, TikTok. Nick Fuentes, he doesn't want the heat. He doesn't want the heat with the ACP. None of these people do. I think this is a good time. I think we have Haz, the chairman of the ACP. I think we're gonna get back to this. Trust me, because Nick Fuentes and these weird right-wing losers, they've been like going after like these weak social democrat people. Like they will go after like the Hasan Pikers, bro. But whenever they have like a true tanky motherfucker, whenever they have someone who is not playing around with liberalism, overlap, you guys know I've been a theory reading course for only about 3-4 years now. It hasn't been long, but I'm definitely leaning more towards the tanky side. That's for sure. So that's why I wanted to have Haz on, because we all about dialogue at RBN, and we had many members from the ACP on. You guys, I love AD Life. I love people at Midwestern Mark. So it's been far overdue, man. What's popping, Haz? I'm glad you're able to join us on RBN, the chairman of the ACP.
What's up, Nick? How you doing? It's a great honor to be here. It's a great pleasure.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you, man, because I'm in this mindset, and we're going to get to Nick Fuentes here very, very soon. We got to get back to that. But in this crazy time where there's this massive genocidal psychosis that is overcoming the West, we're seeing working class movements being crushed. Like the economy is completely collapsing. Germany, France, European quality of life has tanked. We're seeing the end games of capitalism. So my main focus in my mindset is we need to form an anti-capitalist, anti-Zionist movement, because our Western society has been so infiltrated. So I want to talk to anybody. I want if you have a strong anti-Israeli stance or strong anti-capitalist stance. So I want to bring you on and allow you a chance to speak, because a lot of people don't want to do that. Why? What is the goal of the ACP? Like I want to just ask you directly, because there are a lot of people who have certain thoughts. So what is the vision? What is the goal, Chairman?
Well, I mean, we think that the left wing has never had its own party for a very long time in this country. And as a Marxist-Leninist, as a communist, my first instinct would be let's get the Communist Party USA back on. Let's get that shit popping in the social media age. Let's tap into the new generation. Let's get the fire lit so we can have some independent communist politics, because I am a communist. It doesn't mean I'm unwilling to work with non-communists. I am. But as a communist, my first instinct is we communists need our own communist party. And why do we need a communist party? Because the Communist Party is supposed to be the most advanced vanguard organization for the entire working class. The capitalists have their own parties. They have the Democrats and the Republicans. And the working class doesn't have its own party. It doesn't have its own voice or representation. So that's what the purpose of a communist party. It's supposed to be a force that can withstand revolutionary times that I think we're living in, And so we tried with the CPUSA, but lo and behold, I mean, this shit's been infiltrated for a long time, and everybody knows about it, and it's true. It's actually true. And they're tied to the Democrats. So we were patient. We played the democracy. We waited for their 32nd National Congress, and they rigged it, And just recently, they even revamped their constitution and got rid of all the democracy shit. So we had to reconstitute the party. It's been done before, like in 1948. We reconstituted into something more simple, ACP. One of the reasons we chose that name, by the way, because we think the United States is kind of done. Like the USA is like, the state is collapsing. We're facing like a civil war. We're facing collapse. We're facing total breakdown, So we're just like, okay, we're the American Communist Party. We're here for this land. We're here for the people. We're here for the history. We don't know what the future is going to hold necessarily, but, we can't really say that the USA is going to last for much longer, So we reconstitute into the ACP, and, what we're trying to do is we're trying to build dual power straight up. We're trying to build a strategy. We work within communities. We work within the labor movement, and we create a basic framework for organization, for order, for, I would even say, civilization, dialogue, making sure we can mediate disputes, and we can be a source of authority and leadership for communities left behind that don't have any. When the government's not responding to the call, when you've got a natural disaster, in the Carolina, in Texas, and across the country, and the government's not doing anything, I mean, who are you going to look to? Who are you going to look to when shit pops off and You got these crazy neo-Nazi gangs running around and shit, and these psychopaths. And what can you do? You know, so we're trying to we're studying the Chinese history. What happened with that? You know, how did the Communist Party in China take power? We think that's the most successful and advanced model.
And I've been very critical of the DSA structure as well, because you mentioned CPUSA, and I never looked at it because I saw so many of their members supporting Biden. I've seen shit liberate from them from the very beginning, and I had my own journey that I had as well. But to me, it was always clear, even before I was a Marxist, that we shouldn't be operating within these two parties. Even before I read theory, to me that was so obvious. So my idea was we need to start building our own parties, giving people a choice, building our own movements instead of operating within a two-party system. That's why I see you guys doing the ACP. So I want to show you guys this, because this is what the right wing is doing now. I want to get what the ACP is thinking, what you're thinking about, because there is this massive tension in this country. The United States is, like you said earlier, and I've been saying as well, it's in a very tough spot. It's kind of cooked. Like now there are people cheering for civil war. This was the coordinated op by the right wing, and now there's a big messaging war now that the shooter has been comprehended. But you guys see there's this giant coordinated effort to start a civil war, to start these tensions. And as the cop cities are being built, as we are continuing to expand our military industrial complex, China is dismantling us. They're increasing the quality of life for the workers. They are building and creating infrastructure projects. They're putting people to work. So what we want to do as communists is we're trying to bail you motherfuckers out. We're trying to show you guys the proper direction if you don't want your Western society to fail. Because these capitalists, they don't have a backup plan, guys. If you think they do, they really don't. Their plan is they want to go to war with Taiwan, and they want to take the multipolar world down with them. So are we going to allow that to happen, or are we going to mobilize a revolution? But anyway, I want to get your thoughts on this as well, because you've seen this coordinated effort, and I think Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes played a gigantic part of this, trying to start this civil war and these tensions in the United States. What is the statement about the ACP about what's going on, especially following the assassination of Charlie Kirk with these rising tensions? What's your thoughts, Haz?
Well, the ACP has chosen not to even comment on it because it's not our problem. It ain't our problem. I mean, we got nothing to do with. I mean, it's just some shit that's some crazy violence. But I'll tell you my statement. I can speak for myself. Look, I don't know if you saw the recent Gray Zone article that was from someone inside Trump's circles and a friend of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, I don't really care about his motivations. Maybe it's because he was being pushed in a certain direction by the base. Who knows? But he was starting to kind of push back on Israel a little bit, And supposedly he was feeling intimidated. He was getting privately harassed. He was getting threatened. And you can't really trust all these people. I mean, Candace Owens, she said that he was undergoing a spiritual transformation. I don't know what to think. I think it's all a little strange. Okay. I think it's a little strange how somebody landed a kill shot, flawlessly, perfectly. And that wasn't a professional hit. I saw footage of people that were surrounding the stage that kind of looked like they were giving signals. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, it was wild.
Very strange. And then they still haven't been caught. And now the strangest thing of all, right? And I'm just laying out like what's happening, what's going on. See, this kid, Nick Fuentes, has been pretending like he's this anti-Zionist voice, and he's challenging the Republican Party. He's challenging, the Con Inc. establishment, Matt Walsh, Charlie Kirk, whatever. And very suddenly, like this, the entire right wing has unified overnight. Yeah. All Matt Walsh and Nick Fuentes are back together. Yeah. They're all coming together right now, and they're all mobilizing around this narrative that the left is responsible for this. So let's break that down for 1 second, okay? You and I both don't like Hasan Piker. I can tell you don't like him, right? Yeah. And he's super unprincipled. I mean, he's not really whatever, but Is Hasan Piker encouraging his community to shoot people and assassinate people? No, he's not. There's nobody on the, I mean, even Kyle Kulinski isn't, okay? I don't see anywhere on the left, as the right wing thinks it, because this, remember, this is in their own head what the left is. They're going to come after all of us. If we're not on board with Israel, if we're not on board with the neo-Nazi shit and the racist shit, we're all on the left, according to them, right? Doesn't even matter how principled we are. Doesn't even matter if we're independent of Democrats. They're trying to come after all of us now in one fell swoop and say that we're all responsible for this violence. Now, who does that benefit? Look, I'm super critical of leftism. I always have been, okay? But the facts are the facts. It's not Nick Fuentes and his frog community of Groypers who have been challenging Israel the most aggressively in this country. It's been the Palestinian movement, which is with, it's leftist, They're the ones who are the most aggressively critical of Israel. They're the ones who are creating the most, on the sense of influence, opposition to the Zionist genocide in Gaza. So this is the way the Mossad is casting a lot of birds with one stone. One, they're going to start coming after the left to shut it down, the most powerful voice and force in this country that is fighting against the Zionist control of our politics and the policy of genocide in Gaza. Two, this is another interesting thing. Charlie Kirk, who was kind of seeming like he was rhetorically kind of getting more, just kind of like Tucker and Candace, more against Israel a little bit. They took him out. So he's gone. They're not going to have that problem anymore. Now they brought Nick Fuentes in, and you think, well, Nick Fuentes is much more aggressively anti-Israel. I don't think so in practice, okay? Yeah. In practice, no. In his rhetoric, in his words, yes. In his words, he hates the Jews and he hates Israel, whatever he says. But in practice, he's mocking the death of Sinwar.
Yeah, I called him a youthful idiot to design it. That's been my position, Haz. I explain this as well, but please continue. I think
you're totally right about that. He's trying to associate the anti-Zionist movement with racism. Exactly. How does that benefit an American movement against Zionism? It doesn't. It just divides Americans. And there's much more problems with, his angle. His angle basically amounts to, Zionism for white Christians. So exactly. It's the same ideology. And finally, he's making sure that there's no way to have any Jewish opposition to Zionism either. Because he's trying to make it seem like if you're against Zionism, then you're pro-Hitler, which is nonsense. Because Hitler was a Zionist, with the Havara agreement and whatnot.
Nick Fuentes has said multiple times that he's okay with Israel existing. There's many of these people on the right.
It's America first, Israel second for this kid. And I think he said as much. So, but there's an interesting thing going on. They tapped him in instead of Charlie Kirk, but instead of the fault lines and the divergence that was being created before, the right is unifying. And they're treating the Zionism thing as a secondary issue now, right? See, it's very strange. I'm not a huge Tucker Carlson fan, but at the exact moment that he started to diverge a little bit with the Zionist narrative, they unleashed Nick Fuentes on him, right?
Yeah.
You saw that, and then, the whole network of Israel's not scared of Nick Fuentes. They see him as an extremist and as a marginal figure, but the mainstream Con Inc., the grifters, the people like Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens and all these people turning on Israel, you're fucking with their money at this point, okay? Because Israel has pumped in like millions and millions and millions into TPUSA, and the entire Con Inc. network of Republican grifters literally have been getting paid by the Zionist lobby. So for them to turn around and turn on that, that's like, that's like Netanyahu sitting in his office being like, all that fucking money and that investment, they're going to fuck it up? Hell no, right? So it's a huge, and it's a huge infrastructure they built up to brainwash people. They're not going to let that get turned against them, right? So they fear that a lot more, in my opinion. And And now the whole right wing is unified to squash the left and blame the left for political violence. I want to break this down a little bit, all right?
Regardless, yeah, feel free. Take your time, man. Feel free, man.
Yeah.
Feel free.
Regardless of our views about Luigi, I'm not a big fan of adventurism myself. That's my personal view. I don't support. I mean, I'm a law-abiding citizen. But Luigi was
I
not.
didn't shoot the guy. Remember, guys, we didn't shoot him. We don't have to. We didn't shoot him. It's not.
We didn't. Yeah, we have nothing. We have nothing to apologize for. We have nothing to disavow. We have nothing to condemn. Nick Fuentes went on his stream, and you know what he said? He said, "You leftists, you better cry like Dean Withers cried."
I saw that.
Oh, I'm like, tell me more. Interesting. You're gonna make me cry like a little bitch on camera over some guy I didn't even fucking know? Fuck you, Are you crying about all the people you're cheering on their death on? I mean, he called for Jackson, my friend, to be killed in Yemen.
Yeah, I saw that.
He mocked the death of Sinwar. He wasn't crying about that. He mocked the death of a bunch of people in Lebanon who got killed by the pagers. He wasn't crying about that. And I'm expected to cry. Look, I think it's a terrible thing, frankly. I tend to think the loss of human life is negative. In general, if you have a family, it's terrible for the kids. I'm not here to glorify anything. I'm under no obligation to disavow or talk about it. I have nothing to fucking do with it. Okay. Exactly. But here's the thing. Even the Luigi kid, Luigi was not on the left. Look at the reading list of Luigi. It was Yuval Harari, and it was this. So, look, the leftists are getting flack for the memes and the celebrations and shit. Look, I don't indulge in that myself, but I'm not going to sit here and insult my own intelligence and insult the intelligence of everybody, pretending that these disgusting far-right degenerates are somehow people that have profound sentimental value for the sanctity of human life. We all saw the George Floyd memes for years. We all saw the way in which they were mocking the life of all the people they disagree with when they were killed. And now suddenly they're gonna grandstand and say that all these leftists are so inhumane and so whatever. I don't fucking buy it. Okay. Yeah, and I think as a country, I'm against this fed years of lead attempt to create a strategy of tension and have people kill each other and have political violence. But everybody needs to rediscover the sacredness of human life. Okay. Whether they think they're right wing or they're leftist, everybody needs to. And I'm not going to allow the far right to get away with pinning all of it on leftists when they themselves have been a huge factor in the equation when it comes to the nihilism, the psychopathy, the spiral into violence and violent rhetoric. Again, I mentioned the George Floyd memes, but it's the tip of the iceberg. How many of these people on the right are mocking the children in Gaza being slaughtered right now? How many of them are trivializing the genocide going on there? And what happened in Venezuela when that speedboat came out? Those were civilians on that speedboat. It got blown up under I think it was an unproven accusation that it was a drug boat or some shit, right? Was it proven?
Complete bullshit. I broke it. It doesn't make any sense that you would smuggle. They apparently it's supposed to be a giant cartel.
Yeah.
That they had.
They cheered for it. They celebrated it.
I get your point.
In 2019, when we found out that Navy SEALs went and slaughtered civilians in Korea, who was cheering for it? Who was celebrating it? When it comes to violence against U.S. citizens, these people call for violence against me. They call for violence against Jackson. I'm sure they call for violence against you.
They're doing this now. Against me now, yep.
And you know what? I'll even go farther and say something. I'm not a huge ally of the LGBT movement and the transgender movement or anything like that. But I think I don't celebrate when there's the self-harm that's going on among some of these transgenders. But I remember there was an instance when that happened and the whole right wing was like laughing and celebrating about it. And I'm like, regardless of your views on that entire phenomena, I think it's pretty fucked up to celebrate, somebody taking their own life, regardless of what the reason is, because they're that miserable and whatever. So I see on the right, they're always mocking and making fun of people who die, regardless if they have families, regardless of whatever. They're always calling for death all the time. And leftists are doing it to Charlie Kirk, which, again, I don't support. But to sit here and then try to then say, we need to shut down free speech for leftists. We need to weaponize the state to dissolve and destroy the political left. This is exactly the fascist Mossad agenda that's in play right now. They're shutting down the left, aka the Palestine movement, aka all the voices like you and me who are not Democrats, who they fear the most. Because why? We're trying to build something totally new in U.S. politics. Whether it's ACP with what I'm doing, whether it's what you're doing, we have a similar goal. We're trying to completely from the ground up build a new power base that's run by the people for the people. That's not in the system. That's not part of the duopoly with the Democrats and the Republicans. And Nick, that is a left-wing position, in my opinion. The left wing means political change. That's what it meant since the French Revolution.
Absolutely.
The party of movement and the party of change. That's the left wing. We challenge the power. We don't accept the status quo. We are the revolutionaries, right? That's what the left wing means at the end of the day. And that's why, of course, they're targeting the left wing. Overnight, Nick Fuentes' entire lie that he's somehow this dissident who's challenging this powers that be completely disappeared. And for a guy who prides himself, he called me a pussy because I can't name the Jew, right? For a guy that prides himself and distinguishes himself on the basis of, the Jewish power structure and Israel and all this kind of stuff, he's not even raising any skepticism about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, despite how sketchy it is and weird it is. Like he's not even entertaining that there could maybe. He'll say that they did 9/11. He'll say that this and that, but he's not going to sit here and at least be a little skeptical of the mainstream narrative of what we're being told. Yeah. Some Antifa super soldier, I guess, had a clean shot, 200-yard clean shot right into the jugular. I guess he got lucky. And then disappeared without a trace. I mean, it's literally like the fucking movie Shooter or some shit. He had a sniper. He dismantled it. He's like John Wick or some shit. He put it in his briefcase and he left. And that wasn't a professional. That was just some Antifa person, I guess. And we're supposed to fucking believe that nonsense. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but
that was a fantastic rant. You guys know I'm a rant enthusiast at RBN, so that was a fantastic rant. What I've been doing is I essentially going back to your we called them out for their hypocrisy. I love that part. They cheered on the death of so many people, and I brought up George Floyd, and I use them all the time because I know they will fall for my trap. They do it. I've been ratioing these idiots left and right because they'll say, don't you know that George Floyd deserved to die? He was a drug addict. Okay, so you believe he deserved to die because he had a lifestyle and did stuff that you disagree with. So how can you criticize anyone who's laughing at Charlie Kirk? So the only thing that I'm doing, I'm playing a character. I'm telling you guys up front. I'm holding a mirror up at them. If you guys wondering what I'm doing on X, I am quite literally quoting the same thing they said about George Floyd, for example. I had the joke up where I said that Charlie Kirk lasted one day without talking shit about black people. That's the joke verbatim that they repeat, every year. They say, George Floyd is 1 year sober. So I'm holding a mirror up to you guys. I know some people may not like my style recently, but I am playing a character, exposing their hypocrisy. And they realize that that's why they're not calling me out, because they know I will quickly expose them. And everyone who has been ratioed. That's why a lot of their supporters been begging them to go after me, but they realize what I'm doing. They don't want to fall for the trap. I am exposing them, and they are going to. I'll make this other point, then we'll get more into Nick Fuentes. I'm taking this time to tell the truth about Charlie Kirk and what he has sold in discourse, because that's the best option we have, because they're going to go after us no matter what, fam. One of the most deeply unserious things I've seen people say, and bless your soul, I'm not mad at you guys, But God bless your souls. But I see people say, hey, man, we got to be careful what we say, because if we say something crazy, then they're going to crack down on us. Damn, they already killed Charlie Kirk. Whatever the fuck they have planned, they are already going through. So the only thing we can do right now, since we know they have this game plan, they already operate, they started operation on, the best thing we can do is tell the truth. And that is what I'm doing by holding the mirror up to these people. And we're going to hold the mirror up to Nick Fuentes. We're going to get to we haven't got to the main story yet of Nick Fuentes during his live stream last night. The first time I've ever called Nick Fuentes live stream. And I admit, you guys know I'm a political nerd. And I saw all these right-wingers hyping this up on X. They were like, this is going to be a huge moment. Nick Fuentes took last night off because he had his handlers. They were so worried about what script he's going to use. So they're like, man, we need a day to think about this. So there was a big moment, guys. And correct me, I don't know if you have numbers. I don't know if anyone knows any numbers. But this was easily one of the biggest political live streams of all time. When I was watching, he was at 175,000 live viewers, guys. That's fucking. I have never seen anything close to that. It was easily, because the entirety of the right, live is ops as well, like me, mainstream. Everyone is watching to see what Nick Fuentes was saying after the death of Charlie Kirk, especially since they had this beef. I hear my friend Zoe, 250,000 views. So think about this situation that Nick Fuentes had. There was so much pressure on him, he had to take last night off. He like, man, this is fucking Game 7 NBA playoffs. Nigga, this is big pressure. I need a day to think about this. The biggest moment of Nick Fuentes' career, all eyes are on you. What did he do in this moment? He called for big government censorship in your big moment of truth. It doesn't matter what you have done since now. This is your Game 7 in the NBA Finals moment. You know, the moment that people are going to talk about forever? The biggest live stream you probably ever given. And this is what you say? And fam, I can't do a whole 2-hour breakdown of what he said, because I tuned in because out of curiosity, I was late. I only stomached 5 minutes. So I lasted 5 minutes and I heard this nonsense. I also saw the part you mentioned, Haz, where he was like, you guys all should be crying. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
No, so, he said, you better cry. He said, you better cry like Dean Withers.
All right, let me play a clip. I want to give you a reaction, Haz, because Nick Fuentes supporters are in shambles. They're trying to do their best to kill this video, but it's going viral, man. People are not going to stop talking about this because I'm not letting them live it down.
Charlie Kirk, for the people that are selling T-shirts, mocking his execution. For the people that are saying he deserved it for some such other reason. These people must be ostracized from our society. We must identify them. We must have them fired from their jobs. They must be censored on social media. There must be a cost.
Didn't they censor you from social media, sir? So isn't Rumble like Palantir, Peter Thiel? So Palantir boosted outlets. He's magically the biggest streamer ever. He advocates for massive censorship. Haz, you got any thoughts?
I do, because I've always held this. That's why I've never trusted this kid, even before I had a public feuding with him. The thing with this kid, Nick Fuentes, is that the minute he gets legitimized, the minute they throw him, they tap him in and they say, okay, we're going to finally accept you, which is what's happening right now. He's going to completely sell out when it comes to his dissident principles. He's going to sell out on the geopolitics stuff where he pretends to be mildly critical of U.S. foreign policy. He's going to sell out in terms of advocacy for free speech. He's going to sell out in terms of this posturing, pretending to be a dissident. This guy wants nothing more, and since day one wanted nothing more than to be part of the mainstream. He's not a revolutionary. He wants to be tapped into the system. He wants to be welcomed into the system. He wants to be on Fox News. He envies that. He wants it so desperately. And that's the only thing that motivates him, is eventually being on Fox News and being legitimized. He doesn't want to be a dissident. He doesn't want to fight the system and dismantle the power structure.
Remember, he always bitching and complaining. Why don't you have me on Fox News? He wants to be part of that.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
No, I mean, this is the moment of truth. He's dog whistling effectively to the Zionist power, to the Republican Party, and to the establishment that he's going to be their new guy. Exactly. That he's going to take Charlie Kirk's audience. He's going to be the new voice of young conservatism. And the only consistent thing that he's going to be supporting is the fascism, and I mean it in the real sense, not the libtard sense of the word, the real sense, where, you know, we're going to have a Palantir security state. We're going to have a total crackdown on free speech. We're going to rip up the Constitution. And this guy's going to cheer it on for sure. And he pretends to have principles and be fighting the power in the system. It's total bullshit. It's complete bullshit, you know? And I wish, I would want nothing more than for it to be heartfelt and sincere that, okay, maybe this will, I've had an awakening after Charlie Kirk's assassination. I disavow all my George Floyd memes. I'm no longer going to treat death so lightly. I'm going to start taking it more serious. It's going to be a pause for self-reflection and self-awareness. I don't see that. I see a wolf in sheep's clothing. I see a crocodile-like cynicism. Yeah. I don't trust that these people are, you know what, now they're suddenly awake to the sanctity of human life. Bullshit. They're just trying to exploit this as an opportunity to silence the real dissidents and the real people fighting the system. People like you and me.
Yeah. Also, like, you guys see how it's obvious to us, like when we have class analysis, Marxist analysis, because Haz's position on this has been identical to me, because the second I saw these people and they're like, man, don't you know that Nick Fuentes is good on the Israel? Like, bullshit. I'm going to see what his angle is. And they always have an angle. Mm-hmm. And now he, like you said, Haz, he's been propped up as the next guy. Like, he's clearly being groomed. And I'm actually glad I finally found one of these comments. This is why I'm going so hard at him now, because it's clear that he's going to be the new figurehead. They're going to take the ruling class will take advantage of any tragedy. So they're going to use this tragedy to propel this guy who they got trained now to superstardom. So that's why, as people who are fighting against these motherfuckers who are calling for censorship and calling for the working class to lose their job, we have to identify our enemy, and we need to destroy them intellectually. Me and Haz, we destroying this guy. You guys see, he don't want to say my name. These people can say, they can find random teachers and get them fired. You know, teachers who have like 200 followers. So they know a teacher from Utah. They know a teacher from fucking Mexico City. and they fucking get upset with her. But they pretend they don't know me. They pretend they don't know a guy.
No, they know you. They know you. As a matter of fact, they try to pretend like they don't know me, but sometimes he fucks up and he mentions me. Hasan Piker the other day mentioned me. You see that? Get to that, yeah. Yeah. So they know both of us, okay? They know all of us. But, you know, I just find it crazy that this is being pinned on left-wing motivated violence, this narrative. Let's be completely honest about something. The overwhelming majority of violence, political motivated violence in the USA, if not all of it, is right-wing extremism, connected with these same international networks as the Azov Battalion, from school shooters to Nazi Satanists, and even more recently, you know, even when they appear leftist or liberal, they're always part of these weird neo-Nazi fucked up networks. I mean, a real left wing doesn't believe in this kind of shit. A real left wing doesn't advocate for this kind of shit, right? This is always some shit that's being done by these psychopaths. And they're trying to pin it on us. But you know who did? You know, I don't even think it was the right wing that did this. I think it was just Mossad. I don't know what your views on it are, but why is nobody?
I'm still going to wait for more evidence to come in.
No, me too. I'm not certain.
I like to make theories. I got this theory, I got this theory, but I'll wait till more evidence come in. I will tell you guys, like, I think it's very possible the Mossad did, but we obviously don't know yet. But
I totally agree with you. I wouldn't say that I'm certain at all. I'm just saying I have a lot of questions that aren't answered. I'm definitely not willing to accept the mainstream narrative at this point. That's for sure.
I'm gonna get to the part where, despite the fact, and this is for the same thing with there are people who are attacked by the establishment. I remember where Zionist groups was attacking the PSL, and these people attack DSA, and then we like stand up for them on principle because that's what we do, and we know for a damn fact that they would never do it for us. like Hasan Piker attacked us when we were a small channel. They had disdain for us for day one, so we're gonna get to that too because Hasan, I can't believe it was real. It was real. We like, man, we need to get the ACP to go after Nick Fuentes. So we're gonna get to that next. I'm gonna quickly speed this up, and we'll get to that here soon. I'll play the video one more time because this is what we gotta push back aggressively against because he's the new phase of online censorship. I'll play it one more time. We'll move on. Let me unmute.
That are selling T-shirts. Charlie Kirk, for the people that are selling T-shirts, mocking his execution. For the people that are saying he deserved it for some such other reason. These people must be ostracized from our society. We must identify them. We must have them fired from their jobs. They must be censored on social.
Well, don't you guys see how the class war element of that? Nick Fuentes is a millionaire. The Live the TikTok lady, she's a millionaire. You have millionaires and people who are not part of the working class that is cracking down on what ordinary working class people who they know don't have the power to fight back. And they are furious. I already know they mass reported my accounts. I'll be blessed if I'm not banned by Monday because they're furious because I don't have a manager to call. If I had a manager to call, I would have been fired. So it's a coordinated attack on the working class. The same we see with the Zionist lobby, who call teachers anti-Semites because they speak out against genocide. It's a coordinated class war against the working class on many different levels, but even on the basic foundation of speech. But anyway, let me move on. But if you're, I got a longer memory than most because another reason I never trusted this guy, he whined and dined with Zionists for years now. And then the second it became cool to be pro-Palestine, he started dissing himself from the
America first. To the hostile takeover of the Republican Party.
Absolutely.
So
Nick Fuentes was building a pro-Zionist movement in the Republican Party for a very long time. And Haz, you kind of alluded to this where he engaged in opportunism. He knew exactly when to change his tune because now he's like, oh, fuck Laura Loomer, she's a Zionist. But this is how he got started. You guys see how he is an opportunist?
The official drink of America first. To the hostile takeover of the Republican Party.
Absolutely.
The official.
Nick, just recently, this guy was beefing with Matt Walsh, and now he's best friends with Matt Walsh. Anybody who gives this guy a chance, he automatically allies with him. If Netanyahu came out in public and defended him, he would support Netanyahu. Guaranteed.
No shame whatsoever. And there's so many of these people who just make unbelievable shifts in their identity because this was Nick Fuentes before he developed this for the working class, for the white working class, because he saw the American people, including people on the right, and it's what me and Haz identified. This is what many socialists identified. That, hey, man, there are a lot of people on the right who support stuff like healthcare, who will increase wages. So there's like a working class potential in a lot of right wingers. So you guys think that a lot of right wing propagandists didn't shift this too? So that's why Nick Fuentes shifted from a pro elitist stance into straight up now saying, I'm like, now he got this whole shtick where you pretend he like for the white working class.
Yeah, my life is awesome, bro.
Okay.
This is what he used to say.
Your life, you're gonna go bang on nails, and you're laughing at my life.
I mean, I'm getting an education. I'm doing shit.
What are you getting? Where are you getting it?
I mean,
to go to community college.
Okay.
Oh no! Because he goes to a community college. What are you studying?
I have one more question. So you're shitting on the nail bangers, the fucking blue collar, right?
Yeah, right.
You shit on blue collar workers.
So you're trying to appeal to these people. What are you gonna say? What if somebody clips this?
I'm trying to appeal to rich people, actually.
I thought you were trying to appeal to the masses.
Rich people.
I'm trying to. This is what Nick Fuentes used to say.
All right. Richard Spencer.
Yeah, kind of.
All right, I actually got to go bang some nails. So just finish up that point, Catboy.
Yeah, one last jab before you go. Work with your hands. See,
Yeah.
one day maybe you could get an education. You could work with your mind.
Well, I'm getting an education, and I am working with my hands. You
guys
never
see
work
this?
with your hands in your life. You fucking sit around, fucking eat a bunch of fucking McDonald's and shit. You live a terrible life. I really wouldn't. You know, it's called being a man, Nick. You'll never know about that.
I like being poor. I like being poor. Being poor is manly. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'm not poor. Like, it's just cheaper to do it this way.
Yeah, just go to work, buddy. Yeah, you got to go.
I will go to work, bitch.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
I don't see how that's an own. Like, every single functional member of society works, except well, you're not functional, so you know.
True. I'm dysfunctional. But you told me you've never.
That's supposed to be an own.
You've never.
Is that supposed to be an own? I'd rather be a functional member of society than be you.
Almost over.
And that's just the truth.
Yeah, well, that's the difference between you and me, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You want to be a cog, and that's perfectly acceptable. You want to go hammer nails.
There's so many clips like this I could show, but we don't have all day. I got a longer memory than most. Do you have any reactions?
Of course. First thing I'll say is I remember he was going after Hasan Piker, calling Piker a champagne socialist and whatever, and that he's the true advocate for the working class. That's so interesting. Given I've seen his record on this issue. He hates the white working class. He's pretty adamant about that. But I don't know if you ever heard of the PMC idea, you know, the professional managerial class, or what your thoughts are on that idea that there's this PMC.
Yeah, trust me, we have.
You talk about that a lot. Okay, good. So my theory about Nick Fuentes and his fandom is that this is why I thought he was going to ally with the DSA, actually. Because my thought is that the entire movement of the Groypers and these are basically failed PMC. They were trying to work their way up through these institutions, through, you know, white collar and through like professional managerial type of professions, you know, working with your mind. But then they were gate kept, and they associate the gatekeepers with Jews. And that's why they resent the Jews so much, because in the universities, in the medical field, and law, you know, there's a lot of Jews for sure. And that's why they don't see past that, though, because all they want is to replace the Jews in those fields. They just want to be, they want to work, you know, and they want to be the glasses wearers and the PMC elite, and they're being shut out and gate kept from it. So that's where their entire ideology and their movement comes from, and it's not too different from the DSA. Actually, the DSA is for the PMC, and they're also trying to, you know, improve only the conditions of the PMC, and neither of them care about the blue collar working class. Neither of them articulate a class consciousness that's based on uplifting the interests of the blue collar worker. It's all front and center, the PMC, for both of them. So that's my kind of class analysis of that movement. Yeah. I don't know if you.
I don't want to take too much more of your time on a Friday night, but I want to definitely break this video down. So this will be the last thing we do. I want to break down this video, and then we get some super chats. So maybe another 15, 30 minutes. Hopefully, I don't want to take too much more of your time, but I want to break this video down here. And I can't. This was amazing thing for him to admit. I've done so many diss tracks on Hasan Piker. Many people in my audience already know how I feel about him. He attacked us when we was a small channel because we had this base idea of a general strike summit. We had Hinkle that was speaking there. We had many labor organizers that was there. Like, it was something. It was during our rookie year, bro. We came out hot. We was like rookie Kobe coming out, rookie Jordan. We came out with a general strike summit. In our first year, we were smeared by Hasan Piker. I don't want to go through the whole story. Many people already know the story, but that showed his role. His role was always to attack people who organized outside of the Democratic Party. And then what kind of irks me, he would never apologize for this. And he stole our idea later. We were small channel. We like, man, we need to have these labor organizers come on. Let's see if we can talk about a general strike. And then all the labor organizers, they was like, man, we down for a general strike. And we was like, man, this is great. Then Hasan and Vosh, they was like, man, look at these stupid morons. They think they can organize a labor strike online. Who the fuck they think they are? Then 2 years later, he stole my idea. He was like, I got this great panel of labor organizers. We're gonna talk about general strikes. I'm like, you motherfucker, can you at least give me a shout out?
Do you remember the force the vote thing?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was the same shit. It was the same thing. He was on that same bullshit for the force the vote thing.
Anyway, all right, sorry. Let me move on.
Yeah.
Let's actually get to the video because I'm actually shocked that he said this.
No, we gotta. The moment is clear. You gotta sick like the ACP guys on him. Okay, that's it. You gotta get one of those like Haz al Din type motherfuckers to just like eat his ass alive. You know, let him fight.
They're not ready for this fight.
Whatever the fuck his name is. What is it? The
Look, you mentioned this earlier. They always do this smug ass.
He knows who I am. He knows. I mean, I saw him in person. He knows who I am. Hasan doesn't like. He has the whole probably no free clout, kind of thing. He knew who I was when I was on Twitch, as infrared. He knew who I was. After the MAGA communism guy, he knows exactly who I am. And it's okay, but it's pretty smart for him to say this, to be honest, because let me tell you how intensely Hasan Piker follows the community, our community. He was watching for 1 week Nick Fuentes run away from me. He was watching that whole thing go down, that whole feud between me and Nick Fuentes. He was watching that closely. So a few days later, Nick Fuentes gets on stream and he goes, "The left cannot survive an encounter with the far right. Hasan won't debate me. He won't have a discussion with me. He's afraid." Hasan is sitting there scratching his head like, wait a second, haven't you been running from Haz? Haven't you been running from Haz al Din? So he's smart. He goes, okay, I know how I'm going to respond to this. I'm going to tap in Haz, because I don't want to talk to Nick Fuentes because he probably would, honestly, maybe not look too good in that kind of encounter, right? He's like, okay, I'm just going to throw it back to Haz. I'm going to throw the heat back on Haz, which is fine because I like the heat. The problem is that a bunch of retards, they literally took that clip of Hasan and they're like, Hasan's advocating for violence against Nick Fuentes. What? Where was the violence? The violence was what? He wanted Nick Fuentes to debate me and stop running. So the whole thing is just very funny. But I honestly, Hasan's smarter than I thought he was because that was a pretty smart move.
So despite the fact that these people will never have our back, let's play this again. We're going to have his back. We're going to do exactly what he was afraid to do in our last segment. Because he attacks the far left because I wouldn't even group Hasan Piker with us, but he does. Like that's
I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't group him with us.
He thinks Hasan Piker he thinks anyone who's like left of fucking Ilhan Omar the same. Like they don't have a sophisticated political analysis. So we're actually going to do Hasan Piker a favor, believe it or not.
No, we gotta. The moment is clear. You gotta sick like the ACP guys on him. Okay, that's it. You gotta get one of those like Haz al Din type motherfuckers to just like eat his ass alive. Let him fight.
You guys notice I have been right. You guys notice I knew the play before he even called it.
The sad truth is Hasan played all his cards wrong, but the fucked up thing is they're going to come after all of us now. I really think so. I think they're going to come after Hasan too.
100%.
I think they're going to come after everybody.
We're going to defend them when they do too. That's the thing.
You know what? I have no issue saying that. It's just like what you said. He's like, well, he wants our help, even though he didn't help us, and it's like we might have to because that's what being principled means. We've got to be the consistent anti-fascists.
Absolutely.
The fuck his name is? What is it? The Albanian dude?
So disrespectful, man.
No,
all right. Despite the disrespect, we're gonna do you a favor, and this will be what we end on. Because I want us to do an analysis of this clown's politics. Whenever you hear this person, and he just goes based on racial rage and takes advantage of the culture war, but there's no real analysis on how to solve our problems. There's no class analysis about how the ruling class is taking advantage of us. No, he engages as an agent of the capitalist class to push the culture war to distract poor white working class and stop them from organizing with the black and brown people who he demonizes. But let's get to the video because I want you to kind of chime in too. Because I watched a little bit of this. I'm like, bro, are you serious? This is your politics? This is his quote unquote takedown of the far left.
And it's like the far left, these guys are just like fucking defective at this point. I don't even think they know why they do what they do. You know,
I think we have a very clear, unlike you guys, I think we have a very clear goal of liberating, increasing the quality of life for the working class. We may fail. We fighting hard. We fight and do our best, but we may fail. But we have a clear agenda of fighting against true capitalist government tyranny while increasing the quality of life of the working class. What is Nick Fuentes fighting for? What poor white has he ever helped? The United States empire stole trillions of dollars from Africa and the global south and left countless poor white people. And you're not angry at the system? You're angry at a random black guy? You mad at random immigrants instead of the ruling class who stole countless trillions of dollars from other people, but they still didn't give you shit. You poor and white, and you listen to Nick Fuentes, and you think that the answer is organizing based on race. Pathetic. But let's continue. I'm only 11 seconds in. I'm sorry. I can only do a little bit, but let's watch a little bit. I'll let it continue.
And it's like the far left, these guys are just like fucking defective at this point. I don't even think they know why they do what they do. You know, and the reason that the far left is threatened by me is because I'm better than them.
See,
I'm going to take their market share. And you want to know why? Because
you see how there's no analysis about the working class at all. It's about me, my subscribers, my cloud. You guys are watching me, market shares. I'm a capitalist. What if you're a poor white person? What the fuck is wrong with you? This is your hero?
Can talk about Jews. I can talk about black people. I can talk about trannies. I'm not beholden to.
Don't engage in class war. You got to see how that's his message. His core message: no class war. Be distracted by everything.
A crowd of nut jobs that just can't talk about basic reality. You go on the far left, and some of the things I say appeal to them, like about Gaza and like about Israel and so on. But on the far left, you can't talk about Judaism. You don't think.
Sure. See, you guys see how they clearly have no idea what they're talking about? I've made a distinction many times before that Zionism is a system of imperialism that relies on Christian Zionism, which funds and enables it. But I have 100%, and many other people on the left have, like Norman Finkelstein, called out Jewish supremacy. We have called that out many times before. But you guys see how he completely erases that? He's a clown, but let's
think that the far-right Jewish extremists in Israel, like Meir Kahane, who said that all non-Jews should be enslaved or killed, you don't think that has something to do with what's happening there? You don't think that Bezalel Smotrich and Ben Gvir, you don't think that their religious Zionism has anything to do with that? We can't talk about that?
Who said we can't talk about that?
Exactly.
Who the fuck said that? I mean, people, I see fucking liberal leftists talk about that all the fucking time. There's literal Zionist leftists in Israel that talk about that shit. There's nothing like radical. There's nothing like profound or radical about pointing out these like extreme religious ideologies, the Jewish religious ideologies in Israel playing a role in this. Like even Vice News will fucking say that.
This is why he will never debate us. He is utterly delusional. I said this on Twitter. This is why he's running from me. You guys see how they created a completely alternate reality? And they maintain their clout by keeping as many people in this alternate reality as possible.
No, Nick, you're afraid to name the Jews. You're afraid. You're afraid to name the Jews. You can't talk about black people. What?
We're not going to watch this whole clip. I'm going to play just a little bit more, and then we're going to read some super chats when we begin to wrap up. I'll go back a little bit more. I know I interrupted a lot, but you guys, I have a hard time listening to this guy. So if you guys don't mind, so you guys get full content, I promise to God, I'll let it play for about a minute. I'll let it play for like 90 seconds because I'm not going to play the whole thing. And then I'll go back to Haz for we do a post analysis, and then we'll wrap up. So for more context, I'll play it in full without interrupting it, and then we come in after.
And it's like the far left, these guys are just like fucking defective at this point. I don't even think they know why they do what they do. You know, and the reason that the far left is threatened by me is because I'm better than them. I'm going to take their market share. And you want to know why? Because I can talk about Jews. I can talk about black people. I can talk about trannies. I'm not beholden to a crowd of nut jobs that just can't talk about basic reality. You go on the far left, and some of the things I say appeal to them, like about Gaza and like about Israel and so on. But on the far left, you can't talk about Judaism. You don't think that the far-right Jewish extremists in Israel, like Meir Kahane, who said that all non-Jews should be enslaved or killed.
Nick, one second. Just one tiny comment. Nick can't even say that he has solidarity with the resistance. He has to also condemn October 7th. Let's remember that. Let's continue it.
I'm pretty sure you say it as well. I unapologetically support the resistance. I'm out there saying that I support
that though. He's fucking terrified. He literally had to condemn October 7th. He has to condemn Hamas and October 7th. He's literally a cuck. What the fuck is he talking about?
He's so fucking pathetic. Who the fuck do you think he talking to? You guys see why there's no way this.
Bro, I went to Nasrallah's funeral. I was at Nasrallah's funeral. Who the fuck is scared of I'm scared to talk about transgenders. I was at Nasrallah's funeral. What the fuck are you talking about? You're actually a pussy compared to me.
He is so pussy compared to anyone in our orbit. Like anyone in the RBN ACP community has way more balls than this fucking pencil neck. But let me continue. I'm only gonna play one more segment. We can
Jewish extremists in Israel, like Meir Kahane, who said that all non-Jews should be enslaved or killed. You don't think that has something to do with what's happening there? You don't think that Bezalel Smotrich and Ben Gvir, you don't think that their religious Zionism has anything to do with that? We can't talk about that. Like they're handicapped by these rules, these like constraints that they imposed on themselves a long time ago. This like wokeism. Same goes with black people. You know, they want to talk about the working man, the working class. Okay, communist fuckface. Inflation is killing all of us. Wages are stagnant. Housing is getting expensive for me. My homeowner's insurance has doubled in the past 4 years. Everything I exclude.
So that's a very cool Marxist analysis. What I would say is you have no solution. But Nick Fuentes, he's so dumb. They don't even realize when they say this stuff, and I paused it there for a reason. Because once they start, they're doing a Marxist analysis, and then they fuck it up.
The solution is to cry about transgenders and attack black people. That's the solution.
Exclusively eat McDonald's and fast food. It's tripled. Okay, working class heroes. Okay, spokesman of the proletariat. You explain to me why I can't talk about how we're all broke. We can all barely get by.
Sir, you're talking about Marxism here. You realize this is entirely what we
Let me guess. He's going to mention immigration. Let's see.
Yeah, let's continue.
We want to go enjoy our weekend when we're done with work, and we're getting mugged and carjacked. You have package thieves.
You know where that's not happening? China, where they have a coherent central planning model. So communists, I've explained this 1,000 times before. I want a coherent central planning model that gives people a vision. We want to reduce crime.
We're the ones that are trying to rebuild communities. Exactly. He's talking about capitalism where it's anarchy and all these communities are broken and it's every man for himself. Only the communists, only the socialists are trying to restore communities, restore working class dignity, and have safety and have all the. You can't have that with the capitalist system that we have.
So I love how these capitalists complain about our capitalist system using Marxist analysis while condemning communism. Like, the fuck you talking about? That's what the Marxist analysis until you got to the solution. What is your solution?
And why is he pretending? He's trying to racialize it. Why is he pretending that black people aren't victims of crime too? They're probably the biggest. They're probably the biggest victims, actually. Honest working class black people that live in their communities. They're not getting mugged. They're not getting robbed and shit. Of course they are.
And these idiots, and this is why Jake Shields couldn't say anything, because I told you guys my criticism is that these black mayors sold us out to real estate developers and in a police state that doesn't keep us safe. So whenever I go on the show, Jake Shields couldn't even say anything because I immediately was like, hey, yo, this is the problem. The problem is the black community embrace neoliberalism. They embrace a police state and a capitalist system that keeps us unsafe. I guess you're right, man. Jake Shields agreed with me. So what would Nick Fuentes do whenever we go on his show and dismantle his talking points about safety? Because we expose that it's the capitalist structure that is unsafe. You have women in China that can walk out freely at 2 a.m. at night. Why do you think that is? Because they uplifted their people out of poverty, and 90% of millennials own their own damn home. They're not medical debt. There's not homelessness. So what is your answer, sir? What is your solution to the crime problem? Give more money to the police who hasn't done shit to keep your white ass safe? We spend records amount of money on the police, and white people still tell us every single day that they feel unsafe. Maybe your solution is not working, sir. But I dare these motherfuckers to invite me on their shows, and this is why they don't, Haz. This is why they won't do it, because we will expose their shallow ideology. But we can wrap here. Let's get super chats. Haz, any final thoughts? I appreciate your time.
Nick,
I know
honestly, I'm speaking for myself. I had a wonderful time on this show. I'm so glad you invited me, and I'm really liking the energy. I'm liking the fire, and I think we really see eye to eye on the things that matter.
Yeah, man, I greatly enjoyed this conversation. This is why we talk about this all the time before. We harshly reject the cancel culture left. Mm-hmm. And if you engage in cancel culture and you think you can tell me who I can have on my show, you can fuck off. That's my hardline stance. My position is I wanted to talk to anyone, and I want to see the truth for myself. So people are like, man, you can't talk to Haz. He's a crazy fascist. All right, let's invite him on and see if he say some crazy fascist shit. If I invite Haz on and he say some crazy fascist shit, then we can deal with it then. I don't trust people who don't trust dialogue, and the reason why they don't want us to have this dialogue because they was afraid we would get along like this. They
don't like me for a simple reason that I didn't condemn Russia. I wouldn't condemn China. I uphold Stalin. I uphold communist history. And the final thing is, I'm not about this politically correct PMC bullshit. I tell jokes. I like to laugh. I don't like this fucking stuffy PMC shit. But besides that, I've always been consistently left wing, not leftist, left wing. I've always been a Marxist. That's always been what I'm about. And these people that are they're just pussies. They just cry over. They don't want to see a strong, militant, muscular left. They want us to be a bunch of bitches to cry like Dean Withers, just like Nick Fuentes said. It's people like me and you that are going to restore authority and power to the left wing, and that's exactly why these bitch ass people don't like us.
Yeah, I'm moving the way I believe we should move in. And this is why I love my brother from Midwestern Marks, and this is why it was great to have you on. And this is why we're gonna be moving. We gotta move together, and we gotta organize together to take out this. Even the people who people think are good, like we will dismantle the Groyper movement with the RBN ACP alliance. Mm-hmm. We will destroy these motherfuckers. We will destroy these DSA, Zoran Mamdani, liberal Zionists, and we will point the working class in the right direction. And I refuse to listen to anyone who don't want people to form these coalitions. We may not agree on everything. We don't agree on everything. But what we agree on, the most important point, is engaging on class war against these Zio-fascists. Anyway, I shut up.
That's the fundamentals.
I can go on now. Let's get into super chat. This is a very enjoyable show. I'll try to get through these as fast as I can. There was a big turnout. I appreciate everyone who watched tonight. I'm gonna go through these super chats. I saw one where he started to say this Israel shit is too much already. God, man, yeah, I think you're referring to the fact that people are starting to question that Israel probably murdered. I think this was around time when we were talking about how Israel probably murdered Charlie Kirk. People were like, man, they definitely did it, because doesn't it fit their modus operandi? Like, this is how they usually engage. They engage in political assassination. It's not like we're accusing them of something that's not in their pattern of behavior. It's not like we're accusing China of engaging in political assassination of an American politician, because when that ever fucking happened?
Never.
Israel engages in political assassination. That is something that they openly say they agree with. So it's not like we're accusing them of something out of thin air. But anyway, let's move on. Thanks for $5. Charlie Kirk looked like a blood. Damn. Thank you for the super chat. Damn, RBN community is fucking vicious, fam. Thank you for super chat. Thank you for the $9. Long guy. Thanks for having Haz on, Nick. Once again, this was a very enjoyable conversation. Obviously, there's always people like, wait, I can't believe you have an ACP on. Never understood it. And I will engage with these people in good faith. Like, hey, man, tell me your concerns. They're like, don't you know that he tweeted this out? I'm like, all right, man, I guess I have him on. We can talk about this kind of stuff. Like, I'm always for discourse.
Why are they acting like I'm the biggest like villain ever? Like Nick Fuentes got 200,000. He got 200,000 live viewers, and I'm the guy people should be worried about from the left.
They're anti-Zionist, anti-capitalist. What the fuck? They don't vote for Democrats, Republican. Like, aren't these the people we should be reaching out to? Like, to me, that it makes sense. Anyone who fits that fucking these very simple, like that's a very basic litmus test. You guys know I'm not interested in Republicans or Democrats. I'm not interested in people who are Zionists, and I'm not interested in anti-communists. If you're fit outside of that model, why shouldn't I at least have a conversation with you? You know what I mean? And ever since we had like Midwestern Marks on ACP, we have you on. It always ends in great conversations. You know what I mean? So this is why I think we should. And I discourage highly what I see on the left with its cancel culture, with its factionalism, where people I would never talk to this guy. I highly discourage. And I got that when I used to have Jimmy on. I didn't agree with Jimmy on everything, but I'm like, man, why the fuck shouldn't I have him on? He's not a Democrat. He's being against the war. I don't agree with him on everything, but I reject the modern left cancel culture because I live in fucking Missouri. There's no other cancel culture don't exist here. I sold cars in Kansas. You don't exist in the Midwest engaging in this coastal elitist liberal attitudes that come from DSA. These failures of white allies who I would never talk to a racist. Then you fail. What are you doing then for me if you're not talking to these people and helping bring them along? But all right, sorry, I shut up. I know we gotta get moving. They were $20. There's a lot of support here today. You've been on fire these past couple of days. I appreciate it. It's giving me lives. Love the Kirk roast. Keep fighting the good fight. Remember, guys, I explained it before. A lot of low IQ people don't get it. I'm playing a character. I am playing a black Charlie Kirk. And I'm just holding the mirror up to what he has done to our community and other people. And if you're triggered by it, why wasn't you upset with Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens for doing like straight, real ass non-kayfabe shit? This is how they move. I'm very open. I'm playing a fucking character. I don't really mean what I say. I'm just holding a mirror up to these people. Bitch, thank you for Solidarity Super. I really do need to fucking speed this up. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for exposing the hypocrisy. Thank you. Refreshing to hear the truth. Thank you for bringing ACP on again, Nick. We're getting real stuff done for the working class. I joined you because you said you're not a communist if you're not in a party. And if you're someone who's busy, I said this many times before, I know a lot of people are busy. They got families. At least donate. Like help us out best you can. Like if you're doing well in your life, you can't really organize. Be a funder of a party. Do whatever you can to support a party. Join whatever kind of communist or socialist organization you can. That's why we started RBN. You know what I mean? I was like, I need to start my own organization and see what I can do. And I'm glad that I know we're not perfect. We're not fucking perfect. We still got a lot to grow. But this the best I can fucking do for only organizing for the last few years, right? I encourage everyone, join an organization or start your own. I think we have done a lot of success. Like our alliance with the chairman, Fred Hampton Jr. I was very honored when I met with him in Chicago. Like, try to do stuff like that. If you're a socialist and you're a communist, you need to be doing. I understand if you have an excuse. I'm not shaming people. If you have an excuse, you have an excuse. But if you don't have an excuse, you don't have an excuse. You know what I mean? Anyway, let me move on. Thank you for the $10 crash. Do you leave 2 here? Yeah, I do. I see 2 from you. You guys are 100% right. How can he be debanked and yet pro-government censorship now? I gotta be careful because I got a reliable source. I gotta be that that's going to expose a lot of the fraudulent story around Nick Fuentes. I'll be careful because I got some very fucking solid sourcing on this. A lot of things he's been telling you guys about him being debanked and censored was actually bullshit. But I'll spare you guys for now. And this is what this guy is talking about. He got a lot. There's a lot of fucking shady shit about Nick Fuentes, like when he told people to charge the Capitol at January 6th, but he wasn't arrested. But I'll move on because for a second time, we that's a whole rabbit hole. We will get to that rabbit hole. Was Assassin Kid? I don't know that much about him. I was preparing to stream, so I'm gonna look into that here very soon, like the real details of his life. I haven't been obsessed with that because I don't believe their fucking story. I don't believe shit they say. I'm gonna look into it later. Now all he has is pro censorship. Yeah, he tells Groypers to kill him. Great. Yeah, he's a hypocrite. I know what he's saying. I'm not gonna read that because it's pretty graphic, but yeah, they're hypocrites. That's just scratching the surface. Only a few more. I appreciate your time, man. We almost done. Only a few more super chats here. Hasan got Pac-Man syndrome. Can't pronounce names. I fuck up names all the time too, so I can't talk shit. I fuck up names all the time. Nick and Haz energy is perfect for the times. Absolutely. ACP comrades, invite Nick to ACP barbecue.
Absolutely. Nick, honestly, when we do an event, if you're around, you're absolutely invited.
Yeah, I talked to a few people who want. I'm going to restore Kansas City Mutual Aid, and there are a few ACP people out here. I'm inviting them to.
We're probably gonna be doing something in the Southeast soon. So I'll hit you up if we're just gonna have a kickback,
Yeah, I was already talking to a few people. We've been behind the scenes. We're trying to set something up because if someone want to help RBN Mutual Aid, why the fuck would we turn that down?
Good shit. Yeah,
So that's what we got. 100%. That's the anti-Zionist alliance that we want, right? While the people who just relying on Zoran Mamdani and fucking elected leader to save them, they're not doing shit. You know what I mean? You guys see how they just engage in nihilism. They're not doing shit. When Donald Trump won, they were like, "Oh no, we're screwed. We're so screwed." Donald Trump. You guys did the political nihilism. I know you probably talk about this too. Every election, oh no, we're screwed. When Donald Trump won, what did we do? We're gonna organize.
Same shit we've been doing. Huh? I was just saying the same shit we've been doing.
Yeah, thank you, Blueser. This is a very generous super chat. I appreciate you, brother. Big W's for Blueser in the chat. Just 2 more super chats and we wrap up. Kirk is debating St. Peter on the question of genocide of children right now. The facts don't care about his feelings, and St. Peter is about to drop some bangers before he pull the lever. I appreciate the super chat, and you two, we were just engaging in free speech. That's all we're doing here. We're engaging in free speech. Thanks for $5. This last super chat. They will use this as a launch pad to go after leftism and to justify it later to go after normal people. Absolutely. And I'll tell you guys, they're going to do this no matter what you tweet. That's why I chose the route of parody. I chose the route of telling truth via parody. I know everyone don't agree with that, and that's okay. We all got our own strategies. We all got our own methods. And I am revealing their hypocrisy through parody-like approach, showing them exactly how they treated us by telling the truth. Now, you guys, if you look at my hotspot video, I'm not even saying shit. I'm just showing you guys what he said. Be like, how dare you? What? For quoting him? But anyway, let's wrap up. Thank you for joining me tonight on a long Friday night. I want to give you final thoughts. Anything you want to wrap the stream up? Anything you want to shout out, promote? Where can they find you guys? Any events or anything you guys?
Yeah, I'm on X, Infra Haz. We also got ACP Main. I'm on Instagram, Infra Haz. It's the same thing. I just want to go ahead and say, Nick, thank you so much for having me on. It was a great time, and we need to now more than ever. We got to come together because they're trying to manufacture some big bullshit to silence us and persecute us. And now's the time. Now's not the time for any kind of division, in my opinion. And anybody who's serious about defending our liberties and fighting Zionism, now's the time to drop all the petty shit, and it's time we all come together and defend ranks, because the whole right wing has just unified overnight. Yeah,
and anyone who advocates against what we're doing here, look at them as sus. You're not advocating for us coming together in a like-minded coalition. You're sus, man, and I don't want you part of it. You're weird. I think you're weird. I don't want. I said it 1,000 times. I don't want. If you engage in it, fine, man. If you don't like. I think you're weird if you don't want to do this kind of stuff. But thank you guys for watching. I'm a hard rap here. Unfortunately, guys, the streak is gonna end. Like we had this long streak going about 10 weeks of not missing a show, but I'm gonna have a break next week. I got some family stuff I'm gonna do. You know, I gotta attend my personal life. We gotta attend to our people. So that's what I'm gonna do next week. It's been a while since I took a break ever since I started season 4. I didn't miss a single show. You guys seen the streak that we did, and this is why it's great that we end the season on this show. This is a banger show to have as our last live stream. So I'm gonna be off for a week, and I'll be back the following week. I have a lot of guests coming up, like Post Duopoly show, a few other shows coming up as well. So thank you again, Oz. I'm gonna hard wrap you. Have a great weekend, guys. I'm taking a break. Hopefully, I got a lot of content I released though. There's a lot for you guys to catch up on. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great weekend. I love all you.